Welcome to the Nations vs. Nonprofits Weekly Briefing. This is your weekly briefing number 4, How Tribes Maintain Continuity. People often imagine tribal nations as cultural communities, but continuity is not just about culture. Continuity is the reason a tribe remains a government over generations. It is the steady thread that links ancestors to present-day citizens and keeps the nation functioning even through displacement, suppression, or outside pressure. Without continuity, a nation becomes vulnerable to people who claim authority without history, responsibility, or legitimacy. Continuity is the ongoing function of a tribal government across time. It includes record keeping, civic participation, enrollment, leadership transitions, and the documentation that shows a nation has retained its structure even through eras where the government was targeted or disrupted. Continuity is visible in the way a nation maintains its people, its leadership, and its political responsibilities despite changing circumstances. This continuity appears in multiple forms. Enrollment records show who the citizens are. Election certificates show how leaders are chosen. Correspondence with federal or state agencies shows how governments interacted across decades. Censuses, rolls, and land documents show where people lived and how they maintained their community ties. These records demonstrate the survival of a government, not just the survival of culture. Nonprofits sometimes imitate the language of continuity by talking about community history, intergenerational knowledge, or cultural practice. But continuity is not determined through programs or storytelling. It is demonstrated through documented governance, the ability to identify one's citizens, and the consistent transmission of authority from one leadership period to the next. The strength of continuity is also what prevents false claims from taking root. When a tribal government has generations of records showing who belongs to the nation and who has held authority, it becomes much harder for outside individuals or nonprofit groups to step into the political space and claim to speak for a people. Continuity protects sovereignty by showing that the government never stopped. Understanding continuity helps clarify why tribal nations have standing today. They did not appear suddenly, nor did they grow out of cultural programs or community projects. They are governments that persisted through time, maintained their citizens, and continued their political responsibilities despite attempts to erase or replace them. Once you understand continuity, you understand why real tribal nations can demonstrate their legitimacy across generations. Continuity shows the unbroken function of a government, the survival of its people, and the authority that comes from maintaining structure over time. Thanks for watching this week's briefing. Nations vs. Nonprofits weekly briefings drop every Monday. Tune in for next week's subject, Why Tribal Elections Matter.